Hello everybody and welcome back to Dreamhack Winter 2013. This is the Dreamhack Open. This is the finale of 2013. It's been an epic year from Stockholm to Dreamhack Summer to Valencia to Bucharest and now finally here for the Dreamhack Winter. And before we get into our next match, which is going to be a good one, Innovation versus Life, let's take a look at the bracket and update ourselves on the tournament that we've seen so far.
We've had a fantastic day of games, starting with the bracket stage. The first series we had, MMA taking his series over Patience, only to be knocked out later on by Tasia, who's played some really fantastic TVP, eliminating players like Hero, SOS earlier in his group. We saw Jaedong take a pretty tough loss to Innovation, who had to use some very aggressive play. We could see that come up now against Life, who's been dominating Terrans throughout the tournament and also shut down Naniwa.
So as you can see, all the results, all the matches are on screen. The match order for the rest of the evening and from tomorrow is very simple. We're going to be going to Innovation Life next. Straight after that, we go to Tasia versus the winner of that game. Then we have 2 games left. Jaedong versus JYP, and then Naniwa versus Lenok to wrap up the evening. So we have 4 best-of-3s left this evening. Then tomorrow, we'll be starting up with Patience versus SOS, Hero versus Port, and then we'll just make our way through the loser round 3, and then the semi-final, consolidation final, and then the grand final overall. That's today, that's tomorrow. It's going to be pretty awesome. And now it's time to really start to think about that second winner bracket semi-final, Innovation versus Life. What are your initial thoughts here coming into this one?
Well, like I said, Innovation, the series he had versus the last Zerg player that he had to take down to move on to this point, Jaedong, couldn't quite handle him in the macro game. And I think playing the aggressive style is something that he could certainly do, but even this first map won't cater to that quite as well. Life, on the other hand, he's been tearing apart Terrans in macro games, even in aggressive games alike, destroying MMA and Pult in his group at the very beginning of this tournament. He's looked pretty much dominant in every series, honestly, that I've been able to see him play in. And Innovation, he really needs to get back into that mindset for playing a good macro game if he wants to take this series.
Well, let's hope that can be so here, Nathanius, as we're about to load into Whirlwind. This is going to be an exciting one. Whirlwind's a nice big 4-player map. What do you think about this 4-player map for these 2 players?
I think it kind of forces that macro game, and I have to give the edge to Life, but we're here. And we have this Terran player who's got to bring things back a little bit more from the Terran versus Zerg we've seen him play earlier. From Team Acer, it is Innovation. He said he made those aggressive plays because he wasn't confident, but this guy is super confident. In the Southeast, the blue Zerg player. What's Terran to this guy? It is Life.
Life is one of 2 players remaining in the tournament that has not lost a single series yet. Life and Tasia are the only 2 players to do that so far, Nathanius. Innovation has looked a little bit vulnerable. In Group Stage 3, or should I say Group C, he lost 2 games. In there went 2 wins and 2 losses. And he narrowly beat Jaedong, so he overall 3 wins and 2 losses. But Life, on the other hand, he won 4 games out of 4 games in group stage. And then, of course, he went on to beat Naniwa. So 5-0 overall compared to 3 wins and 2 losses. Quite a dominant performance from the Startail player.
Yeah, he's had a great tournament every possible way that you can really look at it. And we're even seeing him opening up with a Reaper on Whirlwind. And this is a bit unusual. You don't typically see this because Reapers are fast, sure, but the ability to scout is somewhat limited since there's not a lot of space to go from the main into the natural and vice versa. And it's kind of like the map's so big, it's hard to deal damage. Most players try to play economically. Maybe Innovation has something up his sleeve for a faster transition after the Reaper, or he's worried about Life maybe bringing some type of aggression.
Well, oh dearie me, that seems to be another drone moving out, and I think we're going to be seeing a 3rd hatchery come down. And well, if anybody can remember what happened to Jaedong earlier today. The same build against a Reaper expansion. He ended up losing like 10 drones really early on. This is clearly a threat to Life and could go heavily in favor of Innovation to start this series up. He's even taking the extractor before the spawning pool.
It's very important that Innovation finds where Life is sooner than later. His SCV scouts the northwest position. He'll know he's not there. The best bet he can really do is send this Reaper to the southeast, and that's where it's rallied. It might actually run past this hatchery on its way over to that base. The spawning pool's coming in. The Overlord actually doesn't see this coming in yet either, so there's the potential for this to do some damage. The Overlord position by the third hatchery might barely see the Reaper. He does see it. He's aware that it's coming. And how does he respond? All he has are drones.
Yeah, this is not good, is it? And this Reaper is just going to cause havoc inside this main base. Let's see how many drones he's going to be able to pick up. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be a substantial amount.
Yeah, he's got the factory, the command center on behind this. Now it's time to do something with what he has now. 2 drones softened up a little bit. He's trying to dance around with them. He hasn't lost anything just yet, but he's got a little bit longer to stay here if he wants to hold this back. 1 drone looks like he'll finally pick one off. He does get that initial kill. Looking for a second. There's a couple of drones that have already been softened up a lot. 1 more hit away for just a few of these drones. He still only has that single kill, and if Life can hold on a little bit longer, he might be able to pull this back, but there another drone falls. A 3rd drone picked off. This is the strength of this Reaper when you don't have the Zerglings out that fast, but not quite as much damage as he did versus Jadon in that earlier series.
16 to 20. Not quite the big difference that we saw previously. And now with Zerglings out and Queens about to join out too, I think this was quite as successful as it was previously as you described. So Innovation not going to get an easy lead, a big easy lead like he did against Jadong. But he is going to follow this up with Hellions. He has a tech lab on the barracks and the starport right next to it. So it looks like he is going to go over with this Reaper, the Hellions and Banshees together. There's definitely opportunities to grab more drone kills.
I really like this look from Innovation. He's kind of turning up the heat a little bit more, and playing with a lot of Hellions at the start of the game is not necessarily bad versus Life. He's a player that oftentimes will utilize not only good Zergling micro, but if you counteract that micro, he's not so likely to move into Roach-based play, which means that if Innovation can get just a couple of good shots, play very well with the Hellion control, he could, as you said, try to extend some sort of early lead after just that initial 3-drone kill.
We'll find out how much damage these Hellions and Banshees are going to do. They don't necessarily need to get just drones. It can be Queens as well, especially because the Banshee is going to be able to deal out a lot of damage. The Hellions can soften up the Queens. The Banshees can come in for the kill steal. And that should be the combination that Innovation would like to be looking for. He's going to be able to do it.
He's got more Hellions queued up. It looks like he wants to put the barracks onto this tech lab after the Banshee comes out, so nothing like Cloak. The Zerglings chasing the lone Reaper that Innovation has on the map all the way back. The Hellions coming in just in time to save it. Nary 10 hit points. The Overlord will come in and scout this, though. He sees, okay, you're moving the barracks back onto the tech lab, starting up your stem. No big production just yet. In Life, he's starting to crank out a few more Zerglings. He really wants to hold on to this 3rd base. And it's kind of funny that based on the scouting, Life has expanded towards Innovation. Dropping this 3rd is going to be absurdly easy in the later phase. But what can you do with these Hellions? 20 Zerglings in production. Innovation just going to try to make this work with these 6 Hellions.
Yeah, 6 Hellions, just a single Banshee here. Zerglings aren't going to do too much off creep. Banshee's headed towards the main base. Hellions around on the natural. And this Banshee has found the Queen, but the Queen got a couple of shots off first, so it's not going to be able to kill it.
That Queen is getting dangerously low. Innovation bringing the pressure. Will lose 1 Hellion. That Banshee really wasn't able to do too much, though. Still no kills on it. And Innovation's pressing into that 3rd base. Zergling's getting a wrap around at least one of these Hellions to get picked off. The Banshee helps finish off that Queen. And now Innovation, he's still doing some damage. He's got his setup back at home. He's added on the 3rd command center. Some of these trees, he's only you can prevent forest fires. Innovation apparently didn't get that memo. He's coming into the 3rd base, though. The Zerglings are not in position just yet, and he's actually got a pretty low Zergling count. This prevents Life from doing anything like going for counter harass. And now that he's finally cleaning up a lot of these Hellions, a little bit of a juke move keeps Innovation alive, but there we see that control preventing Innovation from keeping any type of map control on this field.
So far, Life has handled all this aggression rather well. 53 drones to 45 SCVs, but behind this Innovation's had a very strong setup when it comes to his build. He's got the extra barracks coming down, he's got the double engineering bay, and there is one thing that I always like to see, and when I'm a Zerg player at least, I like to see upgrades. I love my own upgrades, but the thing that's missing in this game is evolution chambers. And without evolution chambers, with 1-1 already being made, what I think we may see here is the Baneling Nest come down, which it is now just coming into the production tab. Roach speed being researched as that layer finishes. Baneling speed being researched when the Baneling Nest finishes. Ventral Sax, I didn't expect that one. I wasn't going to say that. I could have sounded really smart, but I didn't. And I'll be honest, I didn't expect that. We're going to see a bigger set of attacks here from Life against Innovation.
I like this a lot. It's kind of interesting. Innovation's production setup is actually pretty solid for this 10-minute mark. Some of the barracks still producing their own add-ons, but dealing with this attack is going to be difficult. He doesn't actually have a supply depot watching the right side of his base just yet. These medevacs can kind of see something happening, but I like that. Life has started his Ventral Sax well ahead of the pneumaticized Carapace, well ahead of the Overlord speed. This means, since the speed research is a bit faster than the drop, he won't give away super early on that he's going for this play.
Innovation needs to spot this. It's very important for his game.
He canceled it. Okay.
Okay, cancelling it. May have been just a simple mistake there, but Zerglings do get into the third base here. I'm going to pick up a couple of mules, a couple of SCVs, but the threat, the all-in, and it is an all-in, with 1-1 completing, an army on the way. If he doesn't kill Innovation, we'll see both upgrades go to 2-2 for Innovation. They'll have way too strong of an army. And these Zerglings are slowing down Innovation a lot there. They're bringing SCVs off the mirror line. He's not getting the best income he can get. He's not increasing his army size quite as much as he would have because he is losing money. But the attack is on its way. Innovation sees his roaches, and that's a lot of roaches for this part of the game. He picks up and is going to drop. That will distract Life from his main goal, which we all know is to try to kill Innovation here. Is this going to work?
He needs a lot of bunkers. He currently has none, queuing up 2. I think at this point, it would, against this style of attack, even 5-6 bunkers, as long as you don't die to this, like you said, the upgrade disadvantage is going to be monstrous. Innovation has his 2-2 on the way. There's a Spire coming in, but what exactly can he do with this? If he doesn't kill Innovation, the bunkers are only halfway done, just 3 of them. He's got the supply depot wall in front as well, but the SCV's being transferred away, getting gobbled up by these roaches. None of them are going to be able to actually make it back from that third base, it seems.
All right, well, he hasn't killed Innovation yet. He's still alive. He's on 2 bases, but here comes the big Baneling Maul. 15, 17 Baneling right outside the main base, or right outside, should I say, of the natural of Innovation. Is Life going to be able to do this? 3 bunkers loaded up, double, triple Widow Mines ready to go. Here we go. Will Life be able to break this?
He's got a lot of roaches pressing through the supply depots, getting blown apart. The SCVs coming to repair. The Baneling count getting lower and lower. Still, the 3 bunkers are alive. He needs to keep SCVs on top, repairing these. Looks like all 3 of them actually dropping below half health. He's managing to break through the defenses of Innovation. Just a few more Banelings are target fired, and he's pressing Life back. He needs the Banelings on the Marines, and he does not get those connections. Life is dying. Innovation's dying hard. He gets the drop into the third base as well, doing some damage back to Life. And he's managed to hold this off, but he lost a lot of SCVs. He's killed 11 drones so far this game at the exchange of 30 of his own workers.
Mulisks, they don't matter in this game. Maybe they can get into the mineral lines, but it doesn't matter. With 2-2 about to complete from Innovation, there are no upgrades for Startail Life. Innovation has a major advantage I'd like to look at in this game. If he can use that advantage, if he can get over there, start trading units, that's where Innovation's key to success will be. There is a Widowmine there to protect that mineral line, even though there are 2 Banelings up there to try to get towards that mineral line, towards that SCV line. But let's have a look now. Let's have a look. As Innovation prepares his units, he's got all of them ready. 2-2 is about to complete. This is where we should start to see him move out. The Widowmine. Oh, nice move there by Life, actually. He does bring one of them back.
Very nice catch. Widowmine actually helps finish off some of those units, but now the mutas are starting to come out of the field. He's inside the main base of Innovation. The missile turrets weren't there in time. The Marines are coming up to try to deny this. And with what few mutas Life has, he's trying to take this game, at least even things out a little bit from that upgrade discrepancy by hurting the economy. I mean, still important to note, there's no evolution chambers, though.
Exactly. So where is he evening it up? Is he just trying to overwhelm his opponent with Banelings and just look for one big boom? Is that what he's really looking for here? Because without upgrades, he's never going to be able to take good fights unless he just simply has 100,000 more units than Innovation. And look at the supply difference. That's not really the case here. Mules are going to get picked off. They don't have any upgrades either. And only units are being made from Life. And soon we're going to see Innovation start to make his push. And I feel that this push is almost unstoppable with so many Widow Mines. I don't really care how many Banelings you have and how weak apparently Widow Mines are nowadays. They're going to do damage, and they will. Watch this. This is going to be, I think, really well and will work out well for Innovation.
This could be a bloodbath. The Widowmine's getting into position. The Banelings detonating on a lot of the mines. There's still some Marines, though, and all but one Baneling has been eliminated. The tanks is going to help versus the Roaches, but he streams in with Zergling counterattack into the main base of Innovation. He's forcing him around, and this is a great play, saying, okay, maybe I'll lose my third base, but if I can deal enough damage, shut down your production, I can hold you off. These Marines are coming out, though, with that 2-2 upgraded advantage. He said if he can get some of them together, rally his forces,
he's
then he
losing
can do
his
it.
production, he's losing his army capabilities here. Look at the supply differences. You know, the upgrades are great, but if he's not able to build any units...
Those upgrades won't do too much for the non-existent army. All he really has is his third base bunkered up, and Life has somehow once again found a way to take a lead in a game where it seemed like he was going to lose. Innovation taps out.
Life just builds so many units that it's not possible for Innovation to use the 2-2 upgrades. How often, Nathanius, out of all of your StarCraft career, have you seen somebody with 2-2 against 0-0 not win a game in these kind of situations? What do you think's Innovation's mistake there?
It almost never happens. Really, it's just when you're playing against Life, no matter what point of the game it is, you could be even, you could be behind, you could be ahead. If you leave your base and you do not have a depot wall blocking Life, he will find a way to get Zerglings into your base no matter what. No matter the test situation, there was no way he could hold that push with his forces, sure. But going for that huge counterattack, preventing Innovation from using that lead to get more of those upgraded Marines out, it simply wasn't going to happen, and it was potentially the only thing he could have done to guarantee a win in that situation.
All right, well, Innovation, do you think that he should have even attacked in the first place? Do you think he should have waited a little bit longer, then gone?
It's a situation where you got a little bit over-eager. If you make that push out without leaving something safe behind, it's not just a sign that you're making a push. You're overextending by leaving your base at all. You're so open to the counter-harass. Whirlwind's a huge map. It's not like Belshire where it's very easy to block these spaces off, or it's very easy to see the attacks coming. And that is the #1 signature play that Life has. The counter-attacks making you think that you've got this opportunity to make a push and just saying, well, I don't actually have to engage you. This map is big enough. I can grab the lead in other ways.
Life is a fantastic player, always finding ways to pick up games, and he is able to take the first map here against Innovation in this best of 3. Now going over to the second map. We're going over to Yunsu, a 2-player map compared to Whirlwind, which is a 4-player map. Are you expecting Innovation to once again open up with a Reaper expand? And then also, do you expect Life here to play just with that hatchery and spawning pool, not trying anything with a 3 hatchery here on such a smaller one?
Yeah, I don't think we'll see the 3 hatchery before a spawning pool. It would make sense for Innovation to open up with the Reaper. Something he likes to do in a lot of matchups, especially versus the Protoss race, but he's seen a lot more versus Zerg recently from him. And I think it's just a good way to keep awareness on the map. Innovation did hold off the first Roach Baneling attack quite well. And one of the reasons he was able to spot that was by being active on the map, being very aware of what Life had. And I think we're going to see a similar opener. Life, I have to say, no 3rd hatch, maybe just hatch, gas, then pool. Not quite so greedy from him.
Hatch, gas, then pool. I think it's a good build here. Innovation definitely going to be going for a Reaper expand here. Is it likelihood on Yunsu, is it not too dangerous for him to go for a command center first? A build that we see so often from the players like Innovation, players like MVP, all the top tier Terrans.
Life is not one of those Zerg players that's scared to go for a very fast spawning pool. On this map in particular, walling off your natural expansion or walling off your main base to the natural with the command center first actually leaves enough surface area due to the design of this ramp that Zerglings can get a good surround. They can deny a command center if the pool comes fast enough. Innovation says, well, my play will just be to go for a very, very fast, what seems to be proxy barracks.
Ooh, getting all jiggly and wiggly over here. Innovation sending out an early SCV. Who cares about player introductions, right, Nathanius? Look at this. He's moving down incredibly early here.
Looks like it's going to be Reaper. He's not produced any more SCVs, so a very, very fast 9 supply barracks. And the drone immediately for Life might scout this. He's heading just a bit north, so he won't see this quite yet. There's the gas now being taken for Innovation as well. So this very fast Reaper play, it's really weird because the normal Reaper expand won't be able to punish a hatch gas pool. But going for the gas before the spawning pool, something Life's done almost every single ZVT opening, does mean that maybe there's a little bit of extra space to deal some damage. But this drone scout, I mean, Life's going to immediately recognize what's coming from his opponent as soon as he sees this refinery.
Well, there the drone does spot the refinery, and now it's time to start to wonder what's going on next. The spawning pool is on the edge of creep, funny there. I think he may have been aiming for a hatchery first, and then as soon as he spots this, decides to play the spawning pool first straight into a gas. So nice reactions there from Life, and it's kind of smart that he had that drone scout in the first place. Otherwise, he probably would have gone for this hatchery first against this. So he's reacted and changed his build-up. But is it going to be enough? 3 SCVs in love with the drone, chasing it around, kiss and chase. But kiss and chase isn't going to bring any minerals home, unfortunately. And this drone is going to run an escape. Do you think this Reaper can work here? The spawning pool's almost done. The Queen's going to be on its way. If he micros his units well enough and doesn't lose too many drones, he's also going to have Zergling speed soon. He could also launch a counter-attack after that. Things are starting to build up in favor of Life here.
So the thing is, Innovation, when he lost the first game versus Jaedong, immediately turned up the heat quite a bit. This is not the same proxy play that he used versus Jaedong. And while I think Life's early drone scout was in anticipation of him saying, I lost the first game, let's get aggressive again, he might not have been expecting this. But with Zerglings already out from that spawning pool, I think he's going to be completely fine. He might try to grab a few drones here and there. He's delayed his own expansion quite a bit, but look at this. Life's like, no, actually, let's just build a hatchery in your natural expansion because you've got nothing at home to defend against this.
Nothing. That will complete Innovation sees it, and this game's just going to be weird from the get-go here. This is not a usual game, and Zergling speed is on the way. I'm pretty sure we're going to see quite an aggressive playstyle come out from Life. He could look to end it incredibly fast, but we do have a factor on the way. Widowmine, Hellions, all going to be very useful. A wall-off, obviously super useful here. 6 extra Zerglings are being made.
One thing that's important to note is that with good control, I mean, Innovation will bring this Reaper back, but he kind of delays the natural from being taken for Life. And I have to say, one base Terran versus one base Zerg, you got to favor the Terran a little bit more with how fast they can access the tech options as this factory completes. But killing this hatchery with just these 2 Reapers, it's going to take a really long time. And I'm wondering if if Life's going to go for that same kind of death grip setup that we saw Lenok go for against 4GG.
Well, we'll find out there. Spinecrawler has been placed down and cancelled and changed over to a Spore, kind of keep that alive for as long as possible. Queen, if that's able to get a creep tumor down as well. And oh, he gets the spine and actually saves both of the drones there. Nice play by Life, and this is getting more and more difficult. Innovation already trying to go for a tank, but the supply depots are down. These Reapers are going to have to do a lot of work, especially because Zergling speed is on its way so close to finishing.
Yeah, Life pulling back.
May have to help
He's
as well.
back in anticipation of the upgrades. Completing SCVs, getting pulled off the line. 1 Reaper with very low hit points does get sniped. And Life's got just a single Zergling in here. 2 Spinecrawlers. The Siege Tank's on the way, but he's already trying to press his way into that main base. A 3rd Spinecrawler. He's fully committing to this assault.
And with tanks, they are not aggressive. They're never going to be able to move out. Innovation with building tanks is locking himself down for a very, very long time. There's already creep tumors. The Spinecrawlers are moving forward here. Life is just pinning Innovation back up against his own main base. And of course, behind this, I'm sure that eventually Life's going to find somewhere to start building units of his own. But the one crucial part, if this wall gets broken by Spines and Lings, if there are not SCVs repairing this wall, it's going to be open, Lings are going to spread in, and Life could take a 2-0.
It's such a weird situation to be in as a Terran player, but that he's got another command center, so he can still kind of fall back on this. Natural was never taken for Life, but he breaks in and Innovation taps out. That's it. Not able to hold the wall. Life with a 2-0 victory here at Dreamhack. Dreamhack Winter.
That's right, Dreamhack Winter, man. It's cold outside and it seems to be snowing. We are at Dreamhack Winter, and Life is in the winner bracket finals and will be going up in the next series against Liquid Tasia as Innovation is pushed down into the loser bracket. And we'll have to wait to find out today and tomorrow who his opponent will be. And Innovation, some say, just got smashed by Life there. Game 1 Innovation may have had advantages which he could have turned into a game-winning position. But Life is able to make things happen, which he did in game number 1 and in game number 2, shows dominant performances and continues an undefeated run. The 2 undefeated players, both players who are 6-0 in this tournament, in the biggest tournament that Dreamhack has ever seen, will go up against each other in the next best of 3.
It's going to be quite a match. I'm personally really looking forward to see Tasia, as he's played some phenomenal TVT, really blew apart Protoss players in a time where a lot of Terrans have trouble with that matchup. Is Tasia going to show us that dominance that we've been missing in this matchup from players like Pult, from players like MMA, and as we just saw, Innovation? This is shaping up to be a fantastic match. I don't have any other words. I'm really looking forward to this next one.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. And I think a lot of you guys are at home as well. Liquid Tasia versus StarTale Life. That's going to be a good one. but the winner's interview is ready. So Smix, please take it away. Let's hear some thoughts and words from Life.
Thank you very much, Apollo. Congratulations, Life, on your 2-0 victory against Innovation in a very convincing series. In Game 1, I just really want to know what was going through Life's head when he was 0 upgrades against a 2-2 Terran, and how he was able to just come out of that situation to just end that game and be up 1-0. 이제 그 첫 번째 경기에서 그 상황이 이제 본인은 이제 업그레이드는 없었고 상대방 그 이신영 선수는 공업 방업 2대2였어요. 그래서 그 상황에서 어떻게 차분하게 이길 수 있었어요?
저도 포기는 했었는데 상대방이 처음에 감시탑에 해병을 한 마리 보냈을 때 제 링 돌리는 걸 봤거든요. 그래서 저는 빠질 줄 알고 졌구나 했는데 오히려 와줘서 맹독충은 업그레이드 효율을 잘 안 받아가지고 그래서 운 좋게 이겼던 것 같아요, 1세트는.
So he says, in that first game, I had actually all but given up. But then there was a moment where in the sensor tower, he had a Marine and he scouted my lings that were going over to his base. So I actually thought that he would retreat, but actually he came towards me. So I really seized upon that opportunity to go head over to his base, and that's how I was able to counterattack and end that series end that game to take Game 1, despite being at such a disadvantage. In Game 2, we saw a very interesting series. I'm really just curious to see why he chose to do a proxy hatchery and if he was inspired at all by Lennox's play against Innovation earlier. 이제 두 번째 경기에서는 그 해처리를 그 상대방 본인 그 앞마당에 했잖아요. 그거 혹시 그 이동용 선수의 플레이를 보고 한 건가요? 아니면 그냥 다른 이유가 있었나요?
원래 예전부터 원평 거 보고 레더에서 자주 쓰다가 상황이 제가 지금 쓰면 딱 되겠더라고요. 그래서 그냥 즉흥적으로 해봤는데 운 좋게 통했던 것 같아요.
He says this is actually a strategy that I've done on ladder in the past and from a long time ago. And in the moment, I thought, I actually think this strategy might work right now. And so he decided in the spur of the moment to use it. And he thinks that he was lucky enough for it to work, for him to actually win the whole series 2-0. Now, his next opponent is going to be Tasia, who is just on a tear recently. He's stated multiple times that he's going to bring Summer of Tasia to Dreamhack Winter. I'm curious to see how confident he is going up against someone who seems to be doing so well. 이제 다음 상대는 이제 윤영서 선수와 할 건데 윤영서 선수가 요즘 되게 기세도 좋고 엄청 잘하고 있잖아요. 그래서 그거에 대해서 어떻게 생각하는지 그리고 자신 있으세요?
영서 형이 굉장히 잘하시긴 하지만 제가 요즘 테란전도 레더에서 거의 안 지고 자신 있고 그래서 충분히 해볼 만한 것 같아요.
So he says, I do think Tasia is very, very good. However, when I ladder recently, I barely ever lose to Terrence. So I think that it will definitely be it won't be a hard match. I don't think that it'll be hard. I'm pretty confident going into it. Thank you very much, Life, for taking the time to do this interview. Guys, continue to cheer for him as he's about to play Tasia, and we'll see who is able to come out on top. Now, don't go anywhere as that game will start right after this quick commercial break.